Buckingham Palace insiders have confirmed. Discussions are now underway regarding an unprecedented act in royal history, the potential elevation of Michael and Carole Middleton, parents of the Princess of Wales, to the British aristocracy. And more than that, Pippa Middleton, Kate's younger sister, may become lady-in-waiting to the future queen. The very notion has sent shockwaves across courtly circles and lit up global royal watch forums. Never before in the modern history of the monarchy has a middle-class family born outside aristocratic bloodlines, elevated solely by marriage and moral standing, stood at the brink of titled recognition by the crown itself. According to senior sources at the palace, the idea was quietly reintroduced earlier this year, but gained serious traction following a private conversation between King Charles III and Prince William during Princess Charlotte's 10th birthday celebration. There, in a moment captured only by a handful of aides, the king reportedly acknowledged the lifelong devotion of Michael Middleton, expressing that the man has acted more nobly in silence than some born to nobility ever did. The words weren't said lightly. Michael Middleton has never sought the limelight. Unlike some royal in-laws, he has avoided drama, scandal, or the pursuit of power. And yet, for more than a decade, his influence has been felt in the most important ways, through stability, moral support, and unwavering love for both his daughter and his royal grandchildren. Behind closed doors, many credit Michael with providing Prince William the closest thing to a true father figure, particularly during the darker years, following the loss of Princess Diana and the turbulence that defined Charles and Camilla's public transition. Sources close to Prince William say, the Prince of Wales is determined to reward that quiet legacy. One aide described it as a deeply personal mission. This is about loyalty, healing, and acknowledging the family that helped repair him. The proposed titles? Earl and Countess of Bucklebury, a symbolic nod to the family's hometown in Berkshire, and a reflection of the lineage they're helping shape through Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. In a parallel move, Carole Middleton may be granted a formal role in the royal household, possibly as an official companion to the future Queen Catherine, a title distinct from peerage but rich in ceremonial significance. The appointment would allow her to attend royal functions in an official capacity, standing just steps from the throne, albeit without adopting an aristocratic honorific. And for Pippa Middleton, the path may be even more traditional if extraordinary. With Kate likely to require a trusted lady-in-waiting once crowned, few candidates could match the loyalty, discretion, and familiarity of her own sister. According to reports from the Royal Household Office, the concept was floated earlier in 2025, quietly championed by Princess Anne, who respects the value of kinship loyalty in courtly roles. While some argue the optics may appear nepotistic, many within the firm believe it's an elegant solution to a long-standing problem: how to modernize royal protocol while preserving dignity. In the end, said one palace insider, it's about trust, and in the Queen's household, trust is everything. But not everyone is celebrating. Traditionalists in the House of Lords, and among the hereditary peerage, are voicing deep concern, warning that elevating a family without noble bloodlines risks undermining the core principle of lineage that defines the British aristocracy. If the Middletons can become titled, they argue, what then prevents any well-liked commoner from gaining a peerage? In this moment of transformation, the monarchy finds itself walking a delicate tightrope between evolution and erosion. Even more controversially, whispers from within the palace suggest that Camilla, the queen consort, has been less than enthusiastic about the proposal. Insiders allege that she had once lobbied for her own children Laura Lopes and Tom Parker Bowles to receive honorary titles or advisory posts within the royal circle. Both efforts were quietly rebuffed by King Charles, who saw little justification in elevating individuals who had not contributed to the crown in any meaningful way. To Camilla, elevating the Middletons may be perceived as both a personal slight and a dangerous precedent. Those close to the discussions point to a key turning point: Princess Charlotte's 10th birthday in early May 2025. It was then that King Charles delivered a heartfelt private message to William, citing his trust in the Middleton family, and specifically recommending Michael Middleton as a future advisor to the king-in-waiting. This message, reportedly recorded in a handwritten letter and kept under secure lock and key at Kensington Palace, is seen by insiders as the spiritual blessing behind the Middleton elevation. Some even believe this letter could one day be made public to explain what may become the most symbolic royal transformation of the 21st century. Inside the gilded halls of Kensington Palace, the conversation surrounding the Middletons' unprecedented elevation has shifted from speculation to strategic preparation. Behind closed doors, Prince William has made his position clear. His loyalty to the family that gave him refuge must be honored in a way the monarchy has never dared before. "They gave me peace when everything else was chaos," William reportedly told a senior aide during a private retreat at Anmer Hall in June 2025. It's time the crown acknowledged what words cannot. That peace, insiders reveal, came not from protocol, ceremony, or duty, but from Carole and Michael Middleton's rare blend of discretion, warmth, and constancy. When William lost his mother, Princess Diana, he was just 15. In the years that followed, his emotional world was marked by public scrutiny and private loneliness. Even after meeting Kate at university, it was the Middleton household tucked away in Bucklebury that became his sanctuary from the storm. Carole's gentle authority, Michael's quiet steadiness, and the wholesome dynamic among their 3 children gave William something he never had: a blueprint for family life, unmarred by betrayal or hierarchy. It's no exaggeration to say that the future King of England was emotionally adopted by the Middletons in ways palace courtiers still struggle to fully understand. He would disappear into their world, a former security detail once said, and come back visibly lighter. No guards, no press, just family. This backdrop explains why the discussion to formally recognize the Middletons as aristocracy, Earl and Countess of Bucklebury, is not a political stunt, but a personal mission. For William, it is an act of repayment, redemption, and restoration, a way to acknowledge the people who helped him heal and raise the future, queen and heirs of the realm with dignity. But not all members of the royal establishment share his sentiment. At Clarence House, the mood has grown colder, with each whisper of a Middleton peerage. Queen Camilla, while publicly neutral, has reportedly grown increasingly unsettled at the possibility that a business-class family, as one aristocratic friend crudely put it, could be enshrined within the royal order. It's not just about tradition, it's about power. In the past, Camilla had floated the idea of conferring ceremonial recognition upon her own children: Laura Lopes, an art curator, and Tom Parker Bowles, a food writer and royal commentator. Though neither sought the spotlight, Camilla saw the gesture as symbolic, a way to secure legacy and connection in an institution where she was once the outsider. "It would be too naked a move," one senior aide summarized. He respects Camilla deeply, but he will not risk a civil war within the firm over something that lacks moral or ceremonial grounding. Now, watching the Middletons edge toward an honor denied to her own children, Camilla has quietly ramped up efforts to counterbalance the proposal, not through direct confrontation, but through diplomacy. Sources confirm she has begun meeting privately with members of the royal household, voicing concern about the danger of informal influence gaining formal power, a phrase some believe was a veiled swipe at Carole. In the same breath, however, Catherine's sister, Pippa Middleton, has emerged as a lightning rod for change. Reports suggest that William and Kate, already planning future coronation arrangements, have proposed that Pippa serve as lady-in-waiting when Kate ascends to queenship. The position, which has traditionally been reserved for noblewomen from ancient lineages, has evolved over time. In the 21st century, it carries less political clout and more ceremonial presence, but symbolism matters. For Kate to appoint her own sister, a woman with no formal title, would be to rewrite royal convention in real time. "This is about modern monarchy," a royal courtier explains. A queen who grew up in a family that built their own legacy from scratch wants her closest confidant to stand beside her, not someone chosen for lineage, but for loyalty. End of cry. Pippa's appointment may be less controversial than her parents' titles, but it still marks a dramatic shift, the merging of blood and bond into the very fabric of court tradition. Public opinion, as always, is sharply divided. Polls conducted by the Times and Royal Watch UK in August 2025 show that 63% of Britons support the idea of recognizing the Middletons in some formal capacity, citing their positive influence, model family conduct, and role in raising future monarchs. However, 31% remain opposed, with the majority expressing concerns over slippery slope favoritism and the dilution of aristocratic lineage. The House of Lords has yet to issue a formal opinion, but murmurs have begun, particularly from hereditary peers, who view William's emotional motivations as a sentimental overreach. Some argue that if titles are granted based on affection or moral merit, the institution could become a popularity contest rather than a constitutional cornerstone. But William is not acting out of populism. He is acting from conviction. The most senior aides say that the push to elevate the Middletons is not just a nod of gratitude, but a message to the world. In the future reign of William and Catherine, royalty will not be defined by accidents of birth, but by service, devotion, and moral character. And yet, as William prepares to bring his in-laws into the fold, a new axis of influence is forming in the palace, one that could soon pit Queen Consort Camilla against Queen in waiting. Catherine in a subtle, but potent, battle for legacy and voice. This is bigger than titles, one royal insider warns. This is about the soul of the next monarchy. The idea of granting royal titles to Michael and Carole Middleton may have gained traction in 2025, but it didn't begin this year. In fact, the proposal first emerged over a decade ago, in 2014, when respected English entrepreneur Sir John Modesky made headlines by calling on Prince William to break with tradition and elevate the Middletons to the peerage. At the time, Modesky's words were dismissed by many as sentimental flattery. But in hindsight, they appear almost prophetic. The monarchy is not just about who you are born to, he wrote in a widely read op-ed. It's also about who you become, and the Middletons have become pillars of the modern royal family. His suggestion? William, upon becoming king, created a new peerage in the name of the village where Kate was raised, Bucklebury. Under this proposal, Michael and Carole would become the Earl and Countess of Bucklebury, a gesture as symbolic as it was historic. Bucklebury, a quiet Berkshire village of under 3,000 residents, would suddenly be thrust into royal lore. But more importantly, it would become a symbol of meritocratic inclusion, a message that royalty can be earned through steadfast devotion, not merely inherited bloodlines. Supporters of the move point to the exemplary conduct of the Middletons over the past 15 years. Unlike other royal in-laws who have sought fame, profit, or leverage, Carole and Michael have maintained near-total discretion. Their appearances have been rare, their interviews non-existent. Their only role, supporting their daughter, their grandchildren, and by extension, the monarchy itself. In contrast to the public scandals of the Sussexes and the lingering damage from Prince Andrew's disgrace, the Middletons represent the quiet power of stability, and William knows that. They healed the future king, said one royal biographer. That's not just personal, it's national. But not all within the palace are celebrating. Behind silk curtain meetings and cryptic calendar changes, Queen Camilla has been quietly lobbying to reframe the royal honors conversation. Though her children, Laura Lopes and Tom Parker Bowles, remain out of official duties, sources close to Clarence House suggest Camilla had hoped to see them granted ceremonial recognition as part of Charles's 75th birthday honors list, a plan quietly shelved earlier this year. Instead, the spotlight has shifted fully to the Middletons. According to leaked briefing memos, Camilla has raised concerns in meetings with senior advisors about blurring the line between royal honor and personal gratitude. She reportedly questioned whether peerages were now being used to settle emotional debts, a pointed, if indirect, critique of William's initiative. Yet Camilla's own position is delicate. After decades of public resistance, her acceptance as queen consort was hard-won. Pushing too visibly against William now, especially when he enjoys record-high approval ratings, could unravel that progress. One insider was blunt. Camilla has no intention of being the villain here, but she's watching closely, and she's not alone. While the Earl and Countess of Bucklebury titles remain under discussion, another more nuanced proposal has surfaced, naming Carole Middleton an official companion to the queen consort. This modern reimagining of the historical mistress of the robes position would allow Carole to accompany Kate at key ceremonial events, represent her at select charitable functions, serve as a private confidant and advisor without the full weight of a noble title. This compromise, quietly floated by the Lord Chamberlain's office, could diffuse aristocratic backlash while still granting Carole a place of honor beside her daughter. It is a move designed not for spectacle, but for strategic optics. Meanwhile, Pippa Middleton is still the frontrunner for Lady In, waiting a more traditional, though symbolically charged post. Though not a peerage, it would place her within the formal royal household, alongside equerry and senior courtiers. At the heart of this transition lies a subtle but powerful battle over surnames. The British monarchy has always been about houses Windsor, Tudor, Stuart, but now, the once ordinary name Middleton is on the verge of entering the royal lexicon. For traditionalists, this signals the erosion of aristocratic exclusivity. For modernists, it's a necessary evolution. One royal historian summarized it plainly: "We are not watching the end of tradition. We are watching the monarchy adapt, and it must if it hopes to survive the 21st century." As William and Catherine's eventual coronation comes into view, likely in early 2026, according to leaked planning documents, the question of who stands beside them becomes more than symbolic. Rumors suggest that Carole and Michael will be seated among the royal inner circle during the ceremony, a space usually reserved for titled nobility. Additionally, private briefings indicate that William has requested a visible tribute to the Middleton family during the Queen's processional, possibly involving Pippa and Carole walking behind the royal couple. Though such gestures are small, in the context of royal ceremony, they speak volumes. And as these arrangements continue, so too does the scrutiny. It was only a matter of time before Queen Camilla made her move, though not in the way anyone expected. While official statements from Buckingham Palace remained notably silent, following the leaked proposals to honor Michael and Carole Middleton, behind closed doors, a carefully calibrated pushback had begun. Sources close to Camilla's personal aides reveal a queen deeply unsettled, not just by the Middletons' rise, but by what it symbolizes. This isn't about jealousy, one insider insisted. It's about precedent. If the crown becomes a reward for character instead of lineage, where does it stop? For Camilla, whose own royal journey was fraught with decades of public scorn, titles meant legitimacy hard-won. The idea that the Middletons, despite their grace and discretion, might bypass the centuries-old filters of bloodline and nobility, unsettled the very foundation of her understanding of monarchy. Rather than openly opposing the move, Camilla adopted a different strategy: influence the process, slow the momentum, and subtly redirect the narrative. High-level staff meetings saw the quiet re-emergence of her earlier proposal to honor her children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes, with ceremonial recognition for their indirect contributions to royal life. Though King Charles had already rejected the idea earlier in the year, Camilla's camp saw the Middleton plan as an opportunity to revive the conversation under the veil of parody. Why should only one family benefit from their daughter's marriage to the heir? A former palace staffer questioned. Tom has been loyal. Laura avoids scandal. If the Middletons are being recognized, why not them? But here, Camilla found a line she could not cross. King Charles, though largely ceremonial in his recent engagements, still exercises quiet authority in matters of honors and titles. Privately, he is known to view Michael Middleton as a stabilizing presence, particularly for Prince William, whose emotional struggles during his teen years reportedly softened under the Middleton family's care. Charles is also said to appreciate Carole's calming influence on Catherine, and her unflinching loyalty during the Windsor storms of recent years. Charles sees the Middletons as allies of the crown, one biographer said, not political players, and that's exactly what the monarchy needs more of. Thus, Camilla's proposal to raise her children met a firm "not now" from Charles. And while he has not publicly endorsed the Bucklebury titles, his blessing for Carole's potential court companion role is said to have already been quietly given. Outside of palace walls, however, a different kind of pressure is rising from the aristocratic establishment itself. Several members of the Hereditary Peerage Committee, an informal but influential group of dukes, earls, and viscounts, have reportedly expressed alarm at the prospect of non-aristocrats receiving hereditary-style honors. Their concerns are less personal and more institutional. One letter, circulated privately among House of Lords members, warned, "To bestow an earldom on a family of entrepreneurial success is to endorse a shift from nobility to nobility as brand." Translation: if the monarchy honors the Middletons, it may be opening the door to titles for celebrities, financiers, and social media darlings. A slippery slope the old guard is desperate to avoid. And yet, even within their circles, some whisper that this evolution is inevitable. The House of Windsor has long been accused of being out of touch. Perhaps this is how it reconnects with the people, with modern values, with emotional loyalty. Meanwhile, the British public is divided. In a YouGov poll conducted just days after the story broke in the tabloids, 48% of respondents supported giving honorary recognition to the Middletons, citing their decades of support, discretion, and stabilizing presence. Another 39% opposed, with the remainder undecided. On social media, hashtags like #Countess Carole and #Bucklebury Peerage trended across UK Twitter, with thousands debating the meaning of modern monarchy. One viral post read, "If Diana's in-laws had given her this kind of love, we wouldn't be debating whether the monarchy is outdated. The Middletons raised a queen. Give them their due." Yet another, with just as much reach, countered, "Titles are for lineage, not for nice in-laws. What's next, Baron Beckham?" The split is clear, but the emotional undercurrent favors William. After years of scandal fatigue, the public craves a clean, clear narrative, and William's gratitude toward his in-laws offers exactly that. William, for his part, has remained publicly neutral, but palace insiders describe a meticulous behind-the-scenes strategy unfolding. Select members of his communications team have begun briefing royal correspondents about the Middletons' uncelebrated contributions: school runs, quiet security cooperation during threats, emotional support during Catherine's cancer treatment, and even their behind-the-scenes aid in navigating fallout from the Sussex interviews. This narrative, while subtle, is reshaping public sentiment. What William is doing, one royal aide observed, is not lobbying. It's reminding Britain who stood by the crown when it nearly crumbled. And in doing so, he is laying the groundwork for something more than honors. He is laying the groundwork for a legacy. The public image of Prince William is one of duty, steadiness, and stoic strength. But inside the palace, especially during the darkest days of Princess Catherine's illness, that image gave way to something far more human. Those close to William say it was in those moments, when doctors whispered uncertain timelines, and when Catherine lay exhausted after chemotherapy, that Michael and Carole Middleton became his anchor. Not just as grandparents, not merely as in-laws, but as pillars of emotional clarity in a kingdom of uncertainty. There were nights when William didn't leave the hospital, and there were mornings when it was Michael who brought him coffee, one royal source confided. Carole would sit with Charlotte and Louis at home, shielding them from the fear that had gripped their father. These private sacrifices never made the front pages. They weren't meant to. But for William, they meant everything. In those long months of Catherine's treatment and recovery, kept confidential by the palace, until public appearances resumed, William rewrote his definition of loyalty. He had seen what duty looked like on paper. Now he knew what it felt like in the flesh. The monarchy taught him protocol, said a longtime aide. The Middletons taught him love. This quiet loyalty is what now fuels his determination to reward their decades of service, not with palace positions, not with fleeting attention, but with honor. One royal historian noted, "The British monarchy has long tied honor to bloodline." William is asking, why not to character? At Kensington Palace, preparations have quietly begun for the potential bestowal of titles upon Carole and Michael Middleton, titles that would not only recognize their personal contributions but symbolize a broader evolution of royal values. The leading suggestion remains Earl and Countess of Bucklebury, a dignified nod to their Berkshire hometown and the place where Catherine was raised. It's a suggestion that has circulated since 2014 but never gained traction until now. Insiders say preliminary paperwork has been drafted, awaiting only the final approval of King Charles and the green light from William's constitutional advisors. The plan is to present the titles after William's ascension, as one of his first acts as monarch, a gesture both personal and political. And it will not stop there. Pippa Middleton, Catherine's sister, is also being seriously considered for the traditional post of lady-in-waiting, a role that places her at the Queen Consort's side during ceremonial duties and state occasions. Royal commentators suggest this would not only reinforce Catherine's sense of grounding, but symbolize the new Queen's trust in a circle of emotional security over aristocratic lineage. For Carole, a slightly different proposal is under consideration. Official companion to the Queen, a ceremonial court title that allows her to accompany Catherine during public appearances without formal aristocratic designation. It's the modern compromise, explained one palace aide. Respect without rewriting history. But this evolving circle around Catherine has not gone unnoticed by Queen Camilla. After all, the title of lady-in-waiting has long been wielded as a power tool, not just a ceremonial post. Camilla's own inner circle once drew from aristocratic loyalists, longtime confidants, and discreet society allies. But now, it is Catherine who appears poised to shape a modern court of kinship, and the symbolic comparison is not flattering. Camilla's court was strategic. Catherine's will is sincere, remarked one biographer. This shift in influence has quietly eclipsed Camilla's own children from royal relevance. Despite past efforts, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes remain on the sidelines without titles, without roles, and without the public's embrace. One insider summarized the growing tension. William is rewarding the people who raised his queen. Camilla tried the same, but the difference is, the Middletons gave the monarchy stability. Camilla's children never even entered the room. Home. Every monarchy defines itself not just by its rulers, but by those it chooses to honor. And for Prince William, that choice seems increasingly clear. The quiet stability of the Middleton family, so often mocked by tabloids as commoners with ambition, may soon be recast as the quiet nobility the monarchy never knew it needed. And should the day come when King William grants Michael and Carole their titles, it will not be an act of rebellion. It will be an act of memory, of gratitude, of transformation, and of love. Buckingham Palace is no stranger to secrets, but rarely has one rumbled so close to the heart of the monarchy, involving not dukes or foreign dignitaries but the parents of the future queen. As the royal household enters its most sensitive planning phase since the late queen's funeral, the final structure of William and Catherine's reign is quietly being sketched, and it may include the most unprecedented move in modern royal history. On the second Tuesday of September, a discreet meeting convened at Clarence House. Present were William, Princess Anne, Sir Clive Alderton, Charles's private secretary, and Lord Chamberlain Andrew Parker. Missing, pointedly, was Queen Camilla. Sources confirmed that the top item on the agenda was the formal recognition of service contributions by the Middleton family. While the meeting was officially logged under future royal structure planning, those close to the matter say it was, in effect, a dress rehearsal for redefining the royal circle. Princess Anne, ever the traditionalist, was initially skeptical, but moved when William presented a detailed account of the Middletons' contribution, not only to his family, but to the institution itself. His voice, one aide noted, trembled only once when referencing Catherine's cancer battle and who really stood by us when no cameras were watching. "I'm not asking for tradition to be broken," William is reported to have said. "I'm asking for it to evolve." The room fell silent, and then Anne nodded. But not everyone is nodding. Queen Camilla, once dismissed as a transitional consort, has grown increasingly vocal in private about what she sees as William's radical sentimentalism. Royal insiders say she is particularly incensed that her own children, Laura Lopes and Tom Parker Bowles, were firmly denied any role or title under King Charles's reign. She considers this favoritism at best, hypocrisy at worst, said one former staffer. In what some see as a last-minute power play, Camilla recently floated the idea of a new ceremonial role for Tom Parker Bowles as Royal Food Ambassador, a position he could easily fill given his culinary background. But the proposal was met with polite silence from Charles and firm rejection from William's camp, who reportedly considered the suggestion a distraction wrapped in entitlement. Even more telling, Charles has not intervened. His silence on the Middleton elevation has been interpreted by many as tacit approval, or perhaps a signal that he is quietly preparing to let William lead, even before the crown is passed. Beyond the gates of royal estates, the public has begun to take sides. Polling conducted by Ipsos UK reveals that 61% of Britons support William's right to honor his in-laws, especially given their role in raising future monarchs. Only 19% express concern that it would dilute the traditions of aristocracy. Tabloids are divided. The Daily Mail praised the move as a long-overdue modern acknowledgement of the new royal order, while the Telegraph ran a sharply worded op-ed, "You can't grant nobility like you're passing out thank you cards." But supporters argue this is no mere sentiment. The Middletons, they say, are symbols of stability, loyalty, and quiet dignity, the very traits a modern monarchy needs. And for William, that's not just symbolic, it's strategic. Rumors now swirl that William's coronation planning team, quietly activated behind palace doors, has included a ceremonial slot for a special family honor conferment. The specifics are under wraps, but many believe this could be where Michael and Carole Middleton will receive their titles, Earl and Countess of Bucklebury. Meanwhile, Pippa Middleton's name is being quietly stitched into the guest list protocol, not as a spectator, but as an official lady-in-waiting. These changes may sound cosmetic, but in royal optics, they are seismic. The monarchy is not just built on blood, one historian noted. It is built on who we choose to raise the crown with. In the coming weeks, the Privy Council is expected to receive a sealed memorandum outlining William's proposed honors. Though it may not be read aloud until after the king's passing or abdication, its contents will shape the very architecture of the next royal generation. For now, all eyes remain on Buckingham. A family once dismissed as party planners from Berkshire may soon carry noble titles. And if William gets his way, and few doubt that he will, the monarchy may finally take its most daring step in a century, honoring love and loyalty above lineage.